Ariel, I am not sure that the fellow competitors, managers, trainers, okay, the aficionados at 185 pounds, I'm not sure they're fully aware of what is getting ready to happen with the meteoric rise of Kevin Holland. I don't know that they know he has star potential. I don't know that they know this guy went from an unknown to a main eventer. They had better pay very close attention when they're starting to align themselves and start to maneuver in position. You're not going to get anywhere at 185 if you don't at least prepared to go through Kevin Holland. That's how highly I think of him. I think that Gastelum and Whittaker, to answer the question directly, are in the best spot. I think that Vettori has a lot of steam behind him. But I also think those are the names and the usual suspects that people are talking about along with Till. I think they're missing Kevin Holland.
Okay, so this is fascinating because I actually agree with everything you just said about Kevin Holland. I think he's a future title contender. I think he was one of the best fighters of 2020. He obviously won 5 fights in 7 months, not 12 months, 7 months, which is amazing. But Chael, you dismissed the guy who's the actual answer to this question. The guy who has the most to gain of this little mini tournament coming up is 1,000% Darren Till. Why? Not because of his recent record, not because he's coming off a loss to Robert Whittaker, not because a win over Marvin Vettori should mean that you fight for the belt next, because much like we said on Wednesday night regarding Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal, it's because the champion at 185, Israel Adesanya, is saying, I want him next. Izzy and his coach, Eugene Behrman, have already come out publicly and said, if Till wins, we want him next. And guess what? Historically, when a champion says, I want so-and-so next, the UFC usually looks into it and books that fight. And so all Darren Till has to do is beat the very tough, very game Marvin Vettori. Now, no easy task, but if he wins on April 10th, I do believe he will be in the driver's seat. Now, what if he loses? Could very well happen. Marvin's looking great as of late. Then I think it goes to Kevin Holland. Remember, when Kevin Holland won back in late October and Izzy was in attendance at the Apex to watch Anderson Silva, Holland made a big stink, was pointing his finger at him, all that stuff, and everyone was like, Kevin Holland, sit down. You have no room to even be in the discussion with Izzy. Then he beats Jacare, and all of a sudden people were like, whoa, 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 5 in a row, 7 months. Wait a second, things are happening. Then you beat Derek Brunson, now you're in the discussion. So I would put it as Till if he wins, Holland then if he wins, and then of course the big X factor is Robert Whittaker because he's the former champ, and that would be 3 wins over 3 very, very tough opponents. But I don't think Izzy is all too down with running that one back just yet.
And Ariel, if you and I get this one right, and we're only going to know, time is going to tell, but we're going to be looking pretty darn good right now because the obvious answer from popular opinion, if you went to the masses, would be on the Whittaker fight. I realized that was going to be Paul Acosta. Now it's Kelvin Gastelum, but they have one thing in common, which is they both already had the title shot, and they both already came up short. And I do bring that up because I love what you're saying of the mindset of Adesanya. Adesanya is never looking for an easy fight, but there are certain things that make him tick. Personal grudges being number one. So I do think if Till can insult Adesanya the right way, which he's already done, but I think that Kevin Holland is quickly approaching that. I think that's the one thing that the masses miss. If you're asking me what the hardest fight is, where the best fighter is going to come from, yeah, you're going to have to take a real good look at Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum, but there's something to be said for the newness. There's something to be said for some parity, particularly when you're dealing with the mindset of Adesanya.
And I would also add, Chael, that Kelvin replacing Paulo actually just made things a heck of a lot more interesting. Like usually when there's an injury or a withdrawal, the stakes get diminished. But of those 6 fighters competing over the next month or so, the one with the smallest chance, even with a win, to get Izzy next was Paulo because he just lost to him back in September and was very one-sided. Remember, Kelvin and Izzy had a tremendous fight, a fight of the year back in 2019. If Kelvin wins, and he looks the best of the bunch, then you can make a case for him. So he has actually made things a heck of a lot more interesting. But again, because Izzy is saying, I like Darren Till, I want to fight him, he's the most interesting style matchup for me, that puts Till in the driver's seat. But Chael, and you know this as well as anyone, every time Izzy is asked about Kevin Holland, he dismisses him right away. He's like, no, what do you mean, Kevin Holland? Meanwhile, Kevin Holland is on the most impressive streak of the bunch. But for some reason, Kevin Holland annoys him. They had a little back and forth. They had a run-in at the hotel. And he even said to me just a couple days ago, a win over Derek Brunson doesn't get you a title shot, doesn't even put you in the picture. By the way, Izzy beat Derek Brunson, beat Anderson, and then got a title shot. So not that far removed from a Derek Brunson win. There's something about Kevin Holland that gets under Izzy's skin, and that makes me really interested in the fight.
Yeah, and the dismissal by Adesanya, by the way, is very intriguing because you're right. He knows what it would do for somebody to say his name and to call him out. If he dislikes a guy so much he doesn't want to give him that rug, partner, I'm with you. That makes it interesting for me.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.